the CA class group. Today let us see the concept of AS16 intangible assets. Let us first understand what is an intangible asset as per the standard. They are saying intangible asset is an identifiable non-monetary asset without physical substance. Example, keep in mind software or patents or trademark as intangible asset, which you already know to understand this definition. It is a non-monetary asset. We have seen the definition in AS11. Non-monetary asset is an asset where amount, when you sell the asset, the amount is not realizable in fixed or determinable amount. So intangible asset, the exact value is not the book value. When you sell it, the exact realizable amount is not known, and hence it is a non-monetary asset without physical substance. It cannot be seen, it cannot be touched, it can only be felt. The power of the intangible can only be felt. You will only be benefited from it. Why do I have an intangible asset? Held for use in production of goods. Let's take example, pharma companies. They have patents to produce some medicines. Only they can manufacture those medicines and others cannot manufacture. So I have intangible assets which is held for use for production of goods. Rendering of services. Let's take a payroll company which has a payroll software which it uses for payroll processing. So a software which is an intangible asset is used for rendering of services or administrative purposes. You might have seen in most companies, when employees enter a company, they have to show their access card to enter the company. Now, how is this access card tracked? Using a software, your check-in time and check-out time is traced to see how many hours you have worked throughout the day. So, software is used for administrative purposes and not held for sale. If you are going to hold any asset with the intention of selling it, then it becomes an inventory and not an asset. So it is not held for sale. So this is an overview about the definition of intangible asset. Now let us proceed to see how to account for this. In the previous section, we have understood the definition of what is an intangible asset. Now, a company can purchase an intangible asset from outside. So whenever I purchase an intangible asset, I will debit intangible asset and credit my cash or bank. Now what is important is, when a company wants to develop its own intangible asset, there are two phases. One is called the research phase and the other thing is called the development phase. Under your research phase, it is defined as original planned investigation for gaining new scientific knowledge, design, process, etc. So we are planning to do an investigation to get some information about an area to see if this can be feasible or commercially exploited for future benefits. Any expenditure spent during your research phase will fully be debited to your profit and loss account. What is development phase? Applying of existing knowledge. Somebody else has done a research or knowledge gained from research. From my own research, I have gained some knowledge. Using all this information, I want to deliver or develop an intangible asset for getting some commercial benefits. Development phase might be a few years to develop your intangible asset. Development phase of a software. Now, all expenditure incurred in your development phase can be capitalized if some conditions are satisfied. What are these conditions? Whatever you are developing should be technically feasible. Next, I should be able to reliably measure the value of my intangible asset, and I should also have future economic benefits. Two general conditions which we have seen in AS10. Cost should be reliably measured. There should be future economic benefits. Next, intent of commercial use. The intention of why I am creating this intangible asset is to have a commercial use. I am creating a software for payroll processing within my company. No use. I want to use this to generate future cash flows by selling this software to other people as a licensed software. Then there is intent of commercial use. Therefore, I can capitalize the expense. Next, there should be both technical and financial resources available with the company to develop this. To develop an intangible asset, let's say software, requires lot of coding and lot of technical experts. Just by having the idea, it is not possible. You need to have a team and also the money to spend money for a few years before the software is ready to release it to the public. So, if all the conditions are satisfied, then you can capitalize your intangible asset. Next, let us see the small concepts of amortization and what is residual value for an intangible asset. In the previous section, we have understood the concept of research phase and development phase. Now let us see what do you mean by amortization. Just like how depreciation is for fixed assets, tangible assets, we have a concept of amortization of intangible assets. The standard says amortize the asset based on the benefits derived from the asset. Based on benefits derived from the asset on a systematic basis. Let's say benefits of year 1 is 10,000, benefits of year 2 is 5,000, benefits of year 3 is 3,000. Then in this systematic basis you can amortize it. If there is no systematic basis, the standard is saying amortize the benefits, amortize the intangible asset in a straight line basis over the life of the asset. This is about amortization. How many years can I amortize? The standard is saying maximum period within which you can amortize should be 10 years. If you want to argue saying I will amortize within 5 years or 7 years, give reasonable explanation. Give a reasonable explanation as to why you can amortize it over 5 or 7 years and you can continue to amortize it over 5 or 7 years. Coming to residual value of an intangible asset is considered as 0 if question is silent. However, if you can prove there is an outside market or if there are people who are ready to buy this intangible asset for a specific value, then you can say residual value will be some amount. Now, these are the concepts which are unique and important towards your exam for the purpose of intangible assets. Certain other basic concepts like measurement, recognition is very similar to what is there in AS 10. So this is about AS 26. We will be solving a few sums in the live class. Thank you.